Today we are going to cover how to install the roll pin eliminating shift knuckle from Dyno Designs called the Tyrannosaur tightener. We'll cover how to select the correct bushings for your application, how to install them into the Tyrannosaur tightener, and then how to install the Tyrannosaur tightener into your OEM shift linkage. The first step in our process is to select the right bushings for your application. You can do this under the car just as easily. I have it laid out on a table today. You lay the shift knuckle against your factory shift linkage and compare how much space between the shift knuckle exists between these two arms. Your Tyrannosaur tightener will have come with two size bushings, one thin and one thick. You simply select the size bushings that takes up the extra space appropriately so that the Tyrannosaur tightener slots in where the original piece is removed. You can see for our application today we've selected the taller set of bushings. These will be a direct fit into our shift linkage. This is a slight press fit, so it may require impact with a soft hammer hit in order to get the bushings into the shift knuckle. If you place the shift knuckle on a hard surface and then use a non-marring hammer or put a rag over the Delrin bushings, you can tap them in nice and easy. Let's talk about how to remove the factory joint from the shift linkage. This section here is what we'll be removing today. In order to do this, we have to grind off the head of the rivet that holds it in place. And to do that, we'll call upon a grinder. You can use a Dremel or any grinding tool of your choice. Be sure you've got some protective equipment. I have some flap discs and a grinding wheel, as well as a set of punches that we'll use to drive the pin out of the linkage once the head of the rivet has been ground away. Alright, you can see here we've ground away the head of the rivet. We went ahead and ground back some metal around the area as well because we're going to clean this up and get some paint on it. Once you've got the head of the rivet ground back, you'll start to see an outline of the pin. And once you can see that outline, it pretty well means you have got all of the rivet removed and you're ready to move on to the next step. That will involve a punch and a hammer. And once you start applying any sort of impacts onto the top of the pin, it will begin to come free. You can see here with just a little bit of effort, we're already making progress. Setting the punch down on that pin, hitting it a few times, it's already started to drop out. You can see we have a little bit of a gap forming here. All you're gonna do is keep working on this until you drive it all the way through and out. And just like that, we're free. With the pin removed, the factory joint just drops right out. You can take all of this and throw it away. You're not going to need it. And now we're ready to go back together. Because we had to use the larger bushings for this application, we're going to use the longer of the two bolts. Simply slide the shift knuckle into the shift linkage, put the bolt through a washer, through the shift linkage, then the other washer, and the nut. This is a nylock nut so that it won't vibrate loose. Tighten it down, and you're done. And now we're done. I get asked all the time how tight this bolt needs to be, and the answer is as tight as you'll want. This joint does not do any movement while you're shifting the vehicle. This one needs to be nice and free, but you can tighten this bolt as much as you like. The next steps are to install it into the vehicle. Remove the safety pin here, turn you over, loosen the Allen head bolts, and slide it on to the shift selector shaft on the transmission. Then, reinstall the safety pin and tighten the Allen head bolts until the friction grip has a tight bite on the transmission. And now you have installed your Tyrannosaur tightener from Dyno Designs onto your factory Honda shift linkage.